The ancient complex of Palenque is one of the most mysterious archaeological sites in all of the Yucatan of Mexico. It stands apart from other Mayan sites geographically. It's very, very different, on a different location from Chichen Itza and Tulum and other sites like that, set by itself in a higher elevation in a dense, dense jungle. And of the many sites on the complex, perhaps the most mysterious is the temple that's called the Temple of the Inscriptions. In this particular temple, it is the site that has the longest contiguous record of a glyphic nature, of hieroglyphs, covering 180 years of Mayan history, over 600 glyphs covering 180 years of Mayan history.
There is a collection of 3 main temples at Palenque: the Temple of the Sun, the Cross, and the Foliated Cross. Several notable buildings are the Temple of the Jaguar, the Palace, and the Temple of the Inscriptions, which holds some interesting information. It consists of an 8-stepped pyramid with a total of 9 levels. The 5 entrances in the front are surrounded by Mayan inscriptions, for which the temple is named.
When we look at Palenque, we see a city that was built in 3 stages or 3 levels. We have the early, middle, and late classic periods. And during each one of these periods, cities were built. Now, in the early period, which is very, very ancient, they used megalithic technology to build this city. And in the middle period, people came and built directly on top of that again. What you see as you look into these ancient cultures, they like to build directly on top of what the ancients built on, because they knew that the ancients picked the right spot. They knew they had the right magnetic frequency, the right resonance, the right location. It took a lot of the thinking out of building. What it shows us, though, is that the people there had really significantly inherited. It was a very highly populated area, most densely populated by the Mayans. But the Mayans truly didn't build any of these structures going all the way back to the early period. This is some real super deep antiquity beings that came here and built that area up. And then what happened was we had people come and build right on top of it. The Mayans literally inherited what was already there.
So the Olmecs were a civilization that predated the Mayans. They may have been more advanced. No one is really sure where they came from, but their religion and their beliefs of their culture are embedded throughout their structures, throughout their culture, throughout the things they left behind. Palenque was built in 3 tiers. The Olmecs really loved to build according to the contours of the land. They were really into having their ball courts. And when we look at the structures of Palenque and how Palenque is built, we see absolutely that the temples and all the plazas were built around the contours of the land, and a lot of this centered around a big ball court, which is a central feature of their culture. All of these kind of things would have been influenced from the previous Olmec culture. So what this seems to suggest to me is that the Olmecs way predate the Mayans, and that the Mayans built on and were influenced by what the Olmecs had left behind for them.
Mayan architecture is a repository of ancient astronomical knowledge possessed by the Mayan archaeoastronomers. Researchers or archaeologists refer to this as astronomical hierophanies. And what this means is that these Mayan archaeoastronomers were trying to draw down powers into their temples. And in so doing, they were then able to enter into the energy or frequency of those star systems. We find this, for example, at El Castillo, where twice a year, the sun would cast the shadow on the pyramid, and we would see the image of a serpent winding its way down the pyramid. This symbolized Kukulkan, the feathered serpent, descending from the heavens to the earth plane, and therefore El Castillo became a conduit or a portal between earth and the heavens. So what these archaeoastronomers are doing, again, is linking earth with the heavens and drawing down the power of the stars and creating essentially a mirror effect, as above, so below.